I supported Sting contrastingly, but I don't think I masterminded this. I could have told you a constant in the processing of reality between peoples that I could see this coming from a few years away. And I feel like that impasse is expressive of a bid for impression upon reality identifiably undercomprehensive of perspective outside of one. In a worldly sense perhaps. I think what was evident here otherwise was that the wake of that contrast naturalized the preconceptions in what tries to be focal in describing reality with its means. Thus something in the polarity of the bipartisan and the control over narrative between corporate medias is outgrowing itself sociologically. I saw an SUV commercial with a lady in a red dress in it recently. If you're familiar you know that's symbolically and synonym with a pop cultural reference in film, whereupon explaining the illusion of a world, the protagonist is distracted by a woman in a red dress and asked if he is paying attention, looks again, and there is a guy pointing a gun at him. For them, this was synonym to entrancedness and a wake-up call is induced by them, my relationships with this in the meantime as it's able to tell me what was real and wagered against what I should know about how life is and feels despite the allure of the happy SUV commercial, is not encompassing my reality. All the same, it's inconvenient, and they came all this way for the lady in the red dress in the SUV commercial. And I'm a Nazi commie hippie for it. I have never known a greater irony. Waste of life and worth doesn't say that as well as what can understand that in the wholes of life. Politically, that's time's problem isn't it? Everyone and all universal enemy is compressed into the sentiment and form and convenience. Everyone's uncomprehensiveness, everyone's degeneracy, universal simple-mindedness, video games, sexists, not even real ones, and nothing is able to be discussed without the validity of that leverage this way. No outside of the box thinking for finding our momentum, it's that way or we are fucked, we need it so detrimentally. You are asking why does this person's situation have the right to decide the nature of our society this way? And quite frankly the point of its dichotomies and eventual isolations of what reality perhaps has to bear might realize itself when we stopped being totally mind-blown at the validity of that very question. Reality and simultaneously incremental truths of function, yet undefining broadness, is not our maturity at this time in dogmas. Ideology in its applied definition in society, not doctrine per se, is infantilizing us, including them. It is not that choking of a situation. Who and what else do you think exists in the world apart from this definition of peoples in isolation? Universally? Where do you think the best of reasons still function? Where can you understand the qualities of deplorable more authentically? Is this where our comprehensiveness of what we have to work with and whom withal there is to make cohesion with? Is this what you wanted to say to our discourses? Very well, let's say it together, so we can hear it better. He's not gonna sugarcoat it folks, women are genetically wired to power. Some people win, some people lose. I'm basking in relevancy, foresight and leadership already. This is not constructive to onlooking sensibilities and the reciprocations of people as reality and quality has them in the world. But they are still there, and they are probably ready to know something else. Motivate us. The effort of creating the expression of what wanted to be called people skills but on its own terms, relies on a state of sociology where all things are that simple. The difference is, people still don't care how charismatic and motivational they think they are. Anyone can put on pants, people still will, it doesn't make them better. Your freedom to be a guitar of a trend enough to find necessity is still there. But your entire relationship with that is nullified at the inconsistency of simple measures and of a comfortable illusion of your leadership by default. But it doesn't mean the base for commerce is so unavailable that you are rendered enslaved, and oppressed at how that function didn't give you the recognition in purely subjective terms. It is imperative that cohesion began with being able to think outside of a box at this time. Then maturity is the silver lining. I respect leaders when they can lead. We ask for thinking on feet. Be entrepreneurs. But if we are gonna be men bigger than others, fine, let's get the posturing out of the way, save face like the Dale Carnegie book says, and tell us who you are. Because we live in the time when we know what ravenousness looks like. How are you going to engage human rights? And why is it detrimental? I do not ask that on foresight's terms. Then you won't mind if I stay on this side of a foresight. You apparently have nothing to lose. Alas, there enters a point,